I didn't realize until just now that I set it for 9 a.m. instead of it was supposed to be 12 a.m. and I was late for that. So I was talking to a real good friend on the phone, hadn't had a chance to catch up with him a little bit. So we had a time to talk and get things going. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. We're going to flip it around and go ahead and get this drawing started for you. So we're going to set up the camera, flip it, and do our thing. Thought it was. There we go. Okay. Sorry for the setup time there. Never have yet to figure out how to get this to set up quicker. Anyway, so I'll tell you a little bit about this character. Her name is Amanda Rivera. Amanda is a little girl that goes to Pencil Ninja School at A.W. Taylor Elementary. And she is very just she's kind of spunky and full of life and loving life and everything. But she has some issues with some of the kiddos, of course. Sometimes when you're a little chubby, kids tend to make fun of you. But at the same time, she has an interesting life, and so she just tries to live and treat people well and different things like that. And she doesn't let a lot of things that her classmates say get to her. So I wanted to kind of do a character idea where the character, was, and I'll say this kind of like myself growing up. When you're overweight, especially as a child, kids can tend to make fun of you, and kids can tend to try to make you feel less than you really are because you're overweight and they don't feel like you have a defense to fight against it. And so I wanted to create a character that starts off a new book. She's very well put together, but the other kids, of course, are like picking on her because kids do that, unfortunately. And so I really wanted to give Pencil Ninja this character that could, deal with these situations, and Pencil Ninja at the same time to kind of come through and be like, hey, there's nothing wrong with her. She's pretty cool. Why are we messing with her? Type thing. But the thing about this character, above all else, is that she's not your typical character, and that she has her own abilities and things that she kind of goes into. And I'll go into that more as I draw this character. As soon as I figure out how to pick up this pen, I dropped it on the floor. um, so I'm going to try to straighten this up a little bit. So, what makes her different? First of all, like I said, is her attitude towards life. I really want to give her an attitude that's upbeat and very positive in spite of what's going on around her. And I want to make sure that she feels like that she can do whatever she wants to do, in this thing called life. I don't ever want, especially whenever you're doing a girl character, you always want to make sure to give them to treat them like a character. I don't want anyone to feel sorry for her during the course of this because the kids are making fun of her. I want her characteristics to be very much like, okay, I know they're doing it, but that doesn't mean it's the truth for me. Just because they're saying these things don't make it true. If they say, well, hey, she's chubby, so she'll never be able to have friends, and first of all, that's not true for her because she's got friends, she's got people that care about her, and she's got people that love her. But then she's also got Pencil Ninja, and like I said, she has some other stuff going on that I've not delved into yet because I'm trying to save that for when I start drawing the other character. So anyway, trying to put this together. And, one thing that's great about drawing kid characters is you can always you always get this real youthfulness with them when you draw them. And then also it's the fact that when you draw children, you get this interesting opportunity to kind of talk about, you know, your thoughts on life and things like that, and kind of deal with it through the eyes of a child. You know, from scripture, one thing it talks about is, let you come under, Jesus talks about, let you come under me as a little child, you will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. And so I think it's interesting when you have that idea that, kind of this childlike faith or the way of accepting things and dealing with things. I think it's really neat. So I was working on this suit. Kind of got her in a tracksuit, like she's in a PE. So she might actually be on the track team. Not for sure. I know some people say, well, that's not realistic. Why would the chubby girl be on the, track team? And, maybe she's fast for somebody who's not really small. Just another way of thinking about things. I always want to try to challenge myself to draw characters that don't look like the typical characters in books and things. So it's one of the reasons why I make sure to try to push myself to come up with different styles for people when I'm drawing them. So it's one of the things I like to do. It'd be cool if one day I was able to say I was the Bob Ross of children's books. Not sure that that title will ever be true, but I would like to hope it will be one day. That'd be great, right? Everybody has goals. That's weird. I was looking for this particular pen that I have, and none of them are there. Oh, because they're right. That's right there. Okay, there it is. Found it. So anyway, and her name may change. I'm still working on the name, but basically, I want it to be approachable. She's Hispanic, and she has a rich heritage of Hispanic heritage in her, bloodline and everything, and she's proud to be what she is. And so I think that's really cool to represent a Hispanic young lady in a children's book. While she's starting off in the Pencil Ninja world, I hope that I can work and develop stories around her to where in the future it won't just be Pencil Ninja books, but she'll be in her own stuff at some point. I can create this world around her. So that's kind of my hope anyway. So I'm just, finish up the basic stuff here. I needed to go in and do some tightening up of some of the other things. Go ahead and get the eyes in there. Got the glasses gone. Now she has a few freckles here. Of course, the glasses kind of cover some of those up. I'm trying to put them through so you kind of see them. She does have a few freckles. Finish her eyes. And there's that. We've got the basic look for her. I need to cut the hair. Go ahead and get the other side of hair strand out there. Okay. So there's our main character. And then what I wanted to start doing was setting up the other character that she becomes. Now I know I said she's got her own little secret. And so kind of talking about that now. Anybody ever remember the character by the name of Shazam? Um, I don't know if you do. Shazam is a character that was originally named Captain Marvel back in the day, back in the world of I can't think of the name of the comic company that owned him before DC got it. But I know when they had him originally, it was like Captain Marvel, and then they came back and did this whole thing where they named him Shazam. And so, you know, you had Marvel already had a Captain Marvel, so of course they couldn't do the same thing. So, but anyway, so they went ahead and did this, and so that's how they got that character out there. And so I thought, well, you know, what if you had a girl who had an ability to transform into an older version of herself and was a hero, you know, that she could say something, and I wondered what kind of name could I give her, you know, what would be her name, what would she be like, and so I thought about it, and at first I was like, well, if you have a teenage hero, you know, you think about the things that you think about what she could do and who she could be, and so, anyways, basically, my goal was to come up with a name of something that was a little bit different. Well, when I was a kid growing up, you know, there was a character, for those of y'all who may not have watched the show growing up, was Good Times. And Jimmy J.J. Walker always had this little thing. He would say, you know, something about, you know, oh, Kid Dynamite, you know, or he'd just say Dynamite sometimes. And you I never really understood the origin of that. I'm pretty sure somebody has explained it somewhere, but I thought, well, what if instead of just it being a euphemism that this guy said, what if there's an actual character by that name? What if there was somebody whose name was Kid Dynamite? And on top of that, what if, you know, people could watch the show not realizing that the real actual character lived amongst them, you know, in the real world. And so that's kind of my idea for this character. The little girl has the ability to become Kid Dynamite in, you know, the real world. And so then she goes in and just does this, you know, does all this crazy stuff. And I'm not for sure. Like I said, this is more of a character design video. So I'm still working out the kinks and the powers and all that stuff. So I'm not for sure what I want to do as far as that goes. We're gonna go ahead and get her features in and get her started at this time. So I wanted to try to give her a lot of the same features, but make her just a little older. So we're gonna have her look in the opposite direction. And she's not gonna have the glasses. And the thing about it was, unlike you know, Shazam, I didn't want to make her a full adult. I wanted to make her kind of a teenager. You know, instead of being a you know, full grown adult. Because one thing about it, you know, with her being a teenage version of herself, there are things that are different about her that she's going to experience a little bit differently than other heroes would. But then also, you know, just this idea that, you know, she's kind of, you know, as a teenager, she's still in her own skin, and there are things about her that are the same, but at the same time, she's just older, and so it kind of looks different when she's older than when she's a kid. But I also wanted to kind of help her kind of deal with her situation, you know. So it's one of the reasons why I wanted to give her more of the teenage persona than the, you know, just make her a full grown adult. Because I always thought that was one weird thing I always thought with the hero with Shazam was like, you know, if you make him an adult, what happens when, you know, does Shazam have to pay taxes? Does Shazam have to go through and do things differently than other people? I don't know. So I always just wanted to come up with something that would make a hero unique. So whenever she becomes Kid Dynamite, she kind of has the Afro puffs rocking more so. I was going to come up with a way to give her something a little bit different again. Plus, you draw, especially a lot of times, you always like to try to draw something, and if it was in a silhouette, you could tell there was something about that person right off the bat. So I always thought that was kind of cool to have something to where when you see them, they're rocking their own style. Just gotta give her a little collar thing going on here on the side. Want to give her like a medallion that kind of ties the outfit together. I don't want to necessarily give her a cape. For those of y'all who are Incredibles fans, you kind of get the idea there. I want to give her kind of the shawl. And the idea is that her being Kid Dynamite, her main power is that she can basically blow up stuff with touch to different varying degrees. So like, she's kind of, a lot of people think, oh, well, somebody with the name of Kid Dynamite, she's very unpredictable. She's usually pretty calm, but every so often, it's kind of like as she becomes the hero, she has to, she may have to, deal with a wall or deal with some different things or whatever. And I'm still working out the kinks in the power as well. So, I don't want people feeling like, oh my gosh, you really haven't developed it yet. No, I'm trying to get the look first. And then I'm working on the power. But I know it has something to do with explosions. And that's the main thing, because again, it's like her name is Kid Dynamite. I don't want to give her just, oh, let her fly. I want to give her some powers that are cool. So if you've got ideas for that, put them down in the comments. I'd greatly appreciate hearing from you guys on that. So there's that. So we're going to do some detailing here, kind of give her a little heroic styling here. I think we ought to give her some gauntlets. By the way, just want to mention, since I mentioned the word gauntlet, I saw Infinity War yesterday. It was incredible in a lot of ways, and I did put up a spoilery review. So if you've seen the movie, I'd highly recommend checking that out. If you haven't, I'd highly recommend you wait until you get a chance to see the movie before you check out the spoiler review. Because, yeah, I don't want you being spoiled by it, but if we've already seen it, then I definitely want you to be able to talk about it and not feel bad. So that's kind of the reason I put that up like I did. So here's hoping that, you guys, for those of y'all who did or didn't see it, I'm hoping you guys get to talk about it. I'd like to see your dialogue. I'd like to see how you feel about the movie, But anyway, we're going to cut it off there. I hope you guys enjoyed my creation of Kid Dynamite and kind of get to see the process I go through whenever I'm creating a new character. So this is what I do. This is anytime I'm working on different books and things like that. These are the kind of things I do. I have to draw up stuff. I have to think of the stories and all that stuff behind them and what they do. So anyway, here's hoping that you'll get a chance to check out future projects I do. And really appreciate everything that you guys bring to the table. Thank you so much for everybody who watches these videos, my subscribers. I really appreciate you all. And I hope to hear from you. And you guys have a wonderful day. And as always, be blessed and be a blessing to somebody, guys.